Good morning, St. Monica families. This is Mrs. Last. This is a re-recording of my State of the School since my last one that was posted seems to not have appropriate volume. I hope that this message is finding you well and enjoying our Advent season. This week we started to talk about Advent at our all-school assembly. We talked about the meaning of patience and hope through this Advent season, particularly during what can be a tricky time navigating COVID-19. And so every teacher seems to have an Advent wreath and talking about the season of Advent within their classroom. So we will continue to pray for you through this Advent season, and we just ask that you continue to pray for our school community as well. I do have a few COVID-19 updates from the school side. First and foremost, in the event that you have any family member in your home being tested for COVID-19, even if they are not symptomatic, we are asking that all students also remain home until you receive that test result. So please do not send students to school if anybody within your household is pending a COVID-19 test result. Once that test result comes back, as long as it's negative, even if that person is symptomatic and it's negative, they may return to school, but we do not want students in the building that have a family member pending a COVID-19 result. So please be mindful of that. Also, please continue to keep the school informed of any COVID-19 updates your family may have through our virtual learning and our Christmas break, simply by dropping Mrs. Holly, Mrs. Foy, or myself an email, just so that we can continue to track internally how things are going, but also in the event that, depending on the timeline, it may still impact us here at school for contact tracing purposes. So please just continue to be honest with us and keep us up to date with that information. Out in the weekly reminder last week and then in my Thanksgiving letter, I talked about a toy drive with an organization called The Beat Goes On. The Beat Goes On holds a special place in my husband's and my heart, as our son is a heart transplant recipient. He's about 18 months old and doing well, but the first year of life was quite tricky for him. And so one way that our family gives back is by participating in this nonprofit organization called The Beat Goes On. The information on the organization was included in the weekly reminder if you want to learn more about their story and their mission of trying to support research for one transplant for life to happen. They do hold an annual toy drive that my family has been actively participating in over the last 2 years. And so I'm just asking that if you feel inclined as you are contributing to your Christmas shopping to pick up a toy or two for the children at Children's Hospital of Milwaukee that are currently in the cardiac ICU. They are a little bit low on donations this year given the COVID-19 pandemic, and so any gift that you can give would be appreciated. And this drive will go through the next 2 weeks. You can simply have your child bring the toy to school and they can drop it off in the main office, or you may leave the toy outside of door 4. I've been periodically checking and making sure that I check that before I leave each evening. Thank you for your support in this Christmas mission. The other COVID-19 update that I have is I've had a handful of parents reach out just asking about the CDC recommendation in regards to the quarantine time. At this time, we are going to continue to follow the 14-day quarantine rule. The CDC had recommended a 10-day quarantine with some other stipulations that we're still navigating, and we are going to follow at this point what the health department, the North Shore Health Department, is following. And once they release endorsement of the new CDC recommendation, we will then follow suit. So we're saying nothing is changing at this time, and if anything does change, I will be sure to communicate that effectively through the state of the school or an email. Our phones are still down. We do have alternative phones to use in the meantime, so you should have received an update with that telephone number. You can also email myself, Mrs. Foy, or Mrs. Holly with anything that you may need during this time. The weekly reminder also just had a reminder from Home and School that if you'd like to contribute to a teacher gift, to please do so. And then also, if you were the winner of any auction items and you have not yet picked up those auction items from the school, please contact us for a time to pick those items up before we're out of the office for Christmas break. During our virtual time, myself, Mrs. Foy, and Mrs. Holly will be in interchangeably. So in the event that you need something from the school office, please schedule an appointment ahead of time because our schedules will be fluid during that time. I think that is all that I have as far as just specific announcements. There was a handful of other things outlined in the weekly reminder about dress down days for today and tomorrow to celebrate the Christmas season. But I'm also really excited because I've been going into elementary classrooms reading one of my favorite Christmas stories, How to Catch a Reindeer. And so over virtual learning, I've been talking about having a competition amongst families of creating the best way to catch a reindeer, so a reindeer trap. So in your fun time, gather the Legos, the string, paper, boxes, whatever you have in your home. Please do not go out and buy anything, just any materials that you may have, and let your kids really explore the STEM skills that they have inherently by creating a reindeer trap. And then if you are following our Facebook, please post a picture of the the reindeer trap by the December 18th. And myself and a few other judges will judge those reindeer traps. And then the family who has the best reindeer trap will receive a special Christmas gift from myself. If you don't follow Facebook, that's okay. You can also just email me a picture of your family's reindeer trap. So just something fun to do amongst our virtual learning time. And I think the kids have really enjoyed this story. Also ask your kiddos at the end of the day tomorrow what the story behind the Christmas candy cane is and where that was developed, because we talked about that history as well. I hope that you continue to have a beautiful Advent season, and I will see you next week with our weekly update. Take care.